How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to City Skylines. Welcome back to Nerdköping. I certainly hope you're having a good one. Hope you've had some fantastic holidays. The new year is coming up. It's the end of 2020. It's been a year, man. This is not the last video that's going to be up on this channel. There is another one or two coming up before the end of the year. I am taking some time off around the new year, much like I took some time off around Christmas. But, yeah, man, it's been a year. It has been a year. And yes, this is going to be one of them talky City Skylines episodes where we just sort of play the game a little bit, hang out, have a good time, and chill, basically. I'm recording this at 7:02 a.m. I was supposed to be in bed about an hour and a half ago. But I've just been dabbling in City Skylines and a little bit of Grand Theft Auto 5 for the past couple of hours. So, yeah, here we are. Let's play some City Skylines. Let's hang out. Let's chill. Let's do the thing. All right. So, first things first, before we dive into trying to fix this traffic nightmare, I have tweaked some visual settings. I've gone ahead and changed out the loot, the lighting settings, the lighting sort of pack, the theme type thing that we're using here. And I kind of like it. I think it has a bit more of a realistic kind of lighting to it. And you can kind of especially see that here with the way the lighting is just a little bit, I think it's a little bit more flat and everything's a little more desaturated than it was previously. I like it. I think it looks kind of cool. It's a very different look for Nerdköping, so we're going to keep it for the time being at the very least. Now, this junction here is becoming a nightmare, and I kind of want to fix it. We're also having some issues over here with traffic, and I think the way I'm going to try and fix this is a simple little fix of the lanes here to sort of force traffic to use the correct lanes to get around here. So it's going to be that one there that goes that way. And we'll keep traffic from merging there and about there, so they can all get in lane, do their thing, and have a grand old time doing it the whole way along there. So that'll hopefully help traffic a little bit in terms of getting out of this road. As for over here, given that this is essentially connecting directly to a highway, I want to put a roundabout at this corner. So we're going to go in, we're going to bulldoze these buildings, and we're going to take that guy out. We're going to take some trees out. And I'm thinking just something like a 7x7 roundabout is probably the safest bet here. So let's 7x7 or 6x6. Let's do 6x6 instead of 7x7. And we'll take out these sections of road. And we'll just do a careful little 6 and 6 and 6. And we'll just loop it with, I reckon a 4-lane road should do the job. Just something nice and simple that I'm hoping is going to help the traffic a fair bit here. And in terms of connecting this to everything, I mean, I guess what we do is a plain and simple little curve down here. So something like you that goes that way. This road over here is just going to go straight that way, and this guy can come out and just be a nice straight slope up to about there. And I think that'll be fine. I mean, we are going to have to flatten this whole thing out a little bit, but I think that'll be okay, and I think this will be a decent little roundabout. At least I'm sort of hoping it'll be a decent little roundabout. I guess we'll find out. But I also want to go ahead and just slope all of this so it is a little more gentle, and we'll do the same here so that is a little more gentle, which I think it's absolutely perfect there. And I'm going to do the same along here too. So we're going to have this entire section of road back to about there just slope a little bit, because I think it kind of needs to. I think it kind of makes sense. Honestly, I'd even be inclined to go one step further and slope it right back to the other roundabout. So it slopes the entire way down there, and I think that looks better. This as well, honestly, could probably do with sort of... that is very steep. That is extremely steep, but I think we'll kind of allow it for the time being. This in here is probably going to be pretty steep as well. And this guy here is also going to be a little different looking, but I'm kind of okay with that. I don't think it looks terrible. And yeah, we can, you know, rezone all of this. We can, of course, go in and turn off the zoning on the roundabout itself so it doesn't look quite as silly as it did there. And basically just throw in a little bit of zoning here and throw in a bit of zoning here. And I mean, people can walk around the roundabout. They can have a great time doing it. We can put some priority signs in there. We can do some lane management if we really want to, which is already done. But one thing I do want to do is I want to allow lane changing at the junctions because I think that might be an important thing to have. And we'll just see how this goes. I mean, it's obviously going to take a minute for traffic to sort of figure out what it should be doing. But I don't think that's the end of the world. And I do think a little bit of sort of fixed lane work there might be in order. And I think we could do the same for the bridge a little bit too. Just kind of forcing traffic to, you know, get into lane a little bit earlier on. That way, hopefully, it just filters a little bit better. I don't know how well this is necessarily going to work, but we'll kind of leave this be for the time being just to see how it goes, really. I mean, looking at... Oh, now hold on a minute. Something we are going to want to do is have you go to that one lane. Maybe you can go to those two. I don't really like the way this divide is here. I think, you know what we need? We need a 3-lane road with a median is kind of what we need there. Just to sort of give a... Oh, this is weird. It is kind of weird looking. Do we want just a 3-lane road the whole way down there? That might not be a terrible idea, actually, is just doing the 3-lane road the whole way down. So let's just do that. Let's just do the big old road the entire way down here and turn off zoning for a good chunk of it there. And that way we can, you know, not worry about the weird merging and all that stuff. So if I come down here with this tool and just click, that'll set up the junctions, and I can go ahead and just say no merging anywhere on this road, which might be kind of silly, but I'm hoping, at the very least, that lanes will be set up correctly automatically so that we don't have to worry about traffic not being able to go to the right lane. I guess yeah, so traffic's kind of doing what I want it to do. That's fine. So that's perfect. Traffic is moving around kind of the way I wanted it to. It's still backing up like crazy, but I will give it time. We'll see if it filters, and we'll see how it goes. But now that that's done, I want to move away from this space. We have been working at this end of the city for quite a while. I'm not really interested in continuing to just work on this end of the city. Even though it's not done, obviously, I want to get away from it. I want to just, you know, not look at this whole space for the time being. It's annoying me a little bit just looking at this traffic because if anything, it's kind of gotten worse. I think. So, I mean, I kind of expected that would happen, but if anything, it's gotten worse. So we'll not stress too much about it. I actually, honestly, want to look at the needs of the city a little bit, and I want to see what we need. And at the minute, I mean, it's elementary school education, it's high school education, it's university education. So that's definitely a bit of a worry that we need all of those things, because we do have one of these guys. We have one of these community schools over here. We do not have one of the Institutes of Creative Arts over here, which I know I just said I wanted to get out of this area, but I would be curious to see if I can fit this in anywhere, and it would actually go really nicely in there. So let's just tear out these buildings real quick. I know I just said that I didn't want to be here, but I do want to put an Institute of Creative Arts in here. because I think that would be a cool place for it right there. And I'm pretty sure I did have one of those over here at one point, and I was going to detail around it and make sort of a park looking thing, but well, I guess it lives over here now. And what I want to do behind it as well is just throw a couple of cheeky little parking lots back here. If I have any, yeah, we got these ones, I suppose. So something just kind of like that. I guess we'll space it out a little further. Something just a bit like that. And then I can go ahead and put a path just behind the parking lots that connects to about there. And I think that's fine. I do think we're going to want to move you along a little bit. And I think we're going to want to move them down a little bit. But I think we could do some nice detailing there. If anything, we could probably just throw another parking lot here. Or maybe just move both of them down to be next to the other one and put some trees up there or something. But I think that's fine. That'll kind of bring people to the area. And in terms of bus connections, I mean, there's a bus stop here. So that'll be kind of useful. And I guess people can cross over here. We'll just throw a little pedestrian crossing right about there. And I think some traffic lights. And then we will go ahead and leave this area because, quite frankly, I don't want to keep looking at it. So that's good. That'll give us a bit of high school availability. There are people living in the area, so that's going to make them happier. And therefore, that makes me a little bit happier is what it does. So here's the thing. I've been looking at Nerdköping for a while, and I'm trying to figure out, and I've been trying to figure out what the next logical, I sound so professional and like I'm planning everything. I want to figure out what the next expansion would be for Nerdköping. And I keep looking at this area and thinking we could probably do something cool with housing. I feel like it would make sense to do some kind of housing, kind of similar to the European stuff, but obviously not in that building style. So I think what we might end up doing is I might try and just do a really dense section of housing in here to really push the population up. It might need its own highway connection. In fact, I think it probably will. But that gives me room to connect up some of these train tracks. For one, it lets me expand the metro out that way. And speaking of metro, we probably should put some metro into this space over here, because we do have one that comes in, and I know I said we're not going to do anything there. We probably should at some point, though. But I think this area would be cool to build into, and I think that's probably what we're going to get started with. So let's see what we can do. I'm going to try and build this without connecting it to anything right now, just because I want to build it completely, I guess, independently of everything else that we have going on right now. So let's start, let's start about here, and we'll turn off guidelines, and I'm just going to use this as sort of a base for what we might end up doing. I just want something that's nice and parallel to the highway there. Technically speaking, I think it lines up with the other districts. No, it doesn't actually, so that's going to be fun. So that just really nicely follows the highway the whole way along. We can put buildings the entire way along that. I think it'll look pretty cool. I think it probably makes sense that we put some industry up here. So I think we are absolutely going to need a roundabout and are absolutely going to need some good highway connections here. I'm actually honestly thinking that's lowering the highway, doing some kind of roundabout, and then bringing it through a tunnel might be kind of cool. But I'm not 100% sure how I would go about doing that. Because the thing is, I also don't know how I'm going to connect this area to everything else. Because technically, it should probably connect to this avenue, but that seems like a terrible idea. It could probably connect to the highway, but then traffic would have to get on the highway to get into this neighborhood. So I don't really know how I'm going to do this. But I like the look of the area so far. That's something I will say. I kind of like the idea of how this might end up working. So we will see. That is going to be a really busy area, I do think. But that's fine. The rest of this space, I mean, here's what I'm thinking. I'm inclined to say that we leave a gap of 20 units between two sections of road like this, and that everything to the left of this ends up being industry. Now, hopefully relatively clean industry, but industry nonetheless, because we are getting close to the dam. So I think that would kind of make sense, having some industry up that way, especially since we have some here as well. So I think that'll be fine. I think this area having the train lines going through it could be a relatively modern development. This could be housing. So this could be commercial, perhaps? I'm not really sure. I guess we'll figure that one out. I really have no idea how we're going to connect this to the rest of the city. Although what I will say is that I do see a prime opportunity for some train stations in here. So we have, I think that one was one that I didn't really like. We have got some elevated stations. I just need to remember where they are. That is an end station. I think this one is a European main station. It's this fella that we're looking for, is a through station. And I think it would look really good there, because we can bring this line over to that, and then we can put another one sort of over here. Now, two train stations that close together might be kind of silly, so maybe we won't quite do that. But I like the idea of having this this station here instead of a metro. I'm not saying we won't have a metro here, but I like the idea of having that station. I think that's kind of cool. I think bringing this guy forward and then doing something like this might not be a bad idea, because then we can just sort of curve the track so it, you know, comes out like that. Little bit of a sharp bend, but I'm not too concerned by it. And I think what we can do is just a nice little slope up to, if we just grab you, hopefully a slope like that. Oh, that did not work. Okay, this guy might have to be elevated to that height or not. We're going to have to bring you up manually to about there. And then we can go ahead and just grab the rest of those sections of track and hopefully just get a nice little slope there. Yeah, that's fine. So that'll give us just a bit of train line that can connect to the region, because I forgot that I had that going out there. So we are probably going to want to say you do not allow intercity trains under any circumstances. And that train line can probably continue out here at some point. I'm not too worried about it right now. But I think that'll be pretty cool, just having some trains kind of going back and forth from this area. It doesn't necessarily solve the conundrum of how the hell I'm going to connect this to the rest of the city, but it gives us some pretty trains, so I'm kind of okay with that. Okay, so the more I look at this area, the more I feel like we're gonna need some kind of road that follows along the bank of the river. And I feel like what we're gonna need to do is take out this train line and this section of road and quite a bit of this as well. We're gonna want to put a roundabout in there, and I know it's probably not gonna be super effective, but I want to put a roundabout in there, and I want it to sort of follow along the coast of the coastline, and then somehow connect that same road to the highway. Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not sure that this is an amazing idea, but I'm gonna give it a shot, because really, it's about all we got. So we're gonna do just a simple little 5x5 roundabout. Nothing too crazy. Probably not big enough for the amount of traffic that we're going to throw at it. But I know that going in, so it makes it okay. Obviously. So let's just get this hell out of the way, I guess. We'll do this kind of thing just to get some nice curves going there. I say nice, it's all right. And I guess what we can also do is start tearing out some of these roads, and we'll just build something that kind of follows the coastline as neatly as we can possibly get. So what I reckon we would do is we would have something that starts kind of like this, I think. So about there, we'd have something that kind of goes, I don't know, here-ish. So that follows the coastline kind of nicely. We can curve that around. This one might need to come out a little further, and then curve around. So something like that, I think. Yeah, 17 by 13, that's fine. This guy over here is going to be 8 by 16. So what we could do is bring this road forward by about 8 and then just do 8 there and curve it in. I don't know how good that's necessarily going to be. It might be better if I go and do 3 there and 3 there, connect those together directly, and then just curve it like that. And I think I do prefer that, to be totally honest. I think that looks a little bit better. So that's fine. What I can also do is take that road out, and technically speaking, as terrible an idea as this might be, I can bring a road straight back here that connects down there, which I'm kind of inclined to do as well. I think that might be a pretty good idea. And now that we've got that done, what I think we're going to have to do is a bit of a rework of some of my my lines here, because the train line is going to be fine. That's the thing. This train line is going to have no trouble whatsoever reconnecting. It works fine. The metro line, on the other hand, is a whole nother story. I'm not really sure how that's going to reconnect here. It can't really reasonably stay at ground level because it's going to cause all sorts of nightmares. So yeah, we're going to have to figure this out, is what we're going to have to do. I also don't know. I don't know if I'm grabbing the right node there. I'm going to be honest, but I guess we're going to find out. Level it to that height. And then grab these guys and do a nice little slope between them. So that's nice and level as well. And I have no idea what to do with the metro there. I really don't know. I think it might have to be a tunnel that kind of comes up here. So let's take you out. And let's take a little look at what we can maybe do. So you're going to be normal. And you're going to come down to, I guess ground level. I'm really not sure how this is going to work. Maybe stay elevated for a little bit. So it stays elevated to there. And then it comes down to normal height, and then it goes underground. I don't know how well this is going to work. But essentially something like that. And I'm essentially going to have to use move it to drag this as far as I can and then sink it. So that, I think, is about as good as it's going to get. I think we might have to just lower you slightly. That's a massive cliff there that I'm going to have to deal with as well. But I think that's as good as we're going to get. I think that's about as much as I can reasonably get away with. And in terms of connecting all of this, I mean, truthfully, I got nothing elegant for this, is all I'm going to say. So let's just do this. I'll grab the segment. We'll curve it like that. Let's just do this, and I'll grab, oh, that's 2 segments right there. That's not quite what I wanted. We'll bring you forward. We'll connect you two, and we'll just do that. So that, honestly, as steep a slope as that's going to be, I think that's as good as it's going to be. I also don't know how I feel about that decline there, but whatever. This whole thing, I don't have an amazing feeling about it. I gotta be honest. I'm a little, I'm a little curious to see how this ends up going, but we'll deal with it. Hopefully, I'm hoping that a highway connection out here somewhere is going to do some good for us. I'm also thinking that's that road there can be turned into one of these guys. So let's try and have it come straight down. Let's try and keep it ground level for the time being. And let's just upgrade this whole segment here So that kind of cuts straight through, which I do like. That cuts straight through to there, which I do like. I'm just hopeful this kind of works. I gotta be honest. I don't know. I don't know that it will. I really don't. So we're gonna find out together is what we're gonna do. I'm also gonna raise that road up because I think it would look better. So let me just re-grab all of those nodes and just shuffle the whole thing up a little bit. And I guess while we do some tedious road work, I want to take a little bit. And I meant to talk about this earlier in the video. I'm going to be completely honest. I really meant to talk about this a fair bit earlier. What is going on there? Is that... Oh, that isn't in a straight line at all. I don't know how I feel about that. Let's take that out for a second. I'll figure that out. Yeah, I wanted to talk about this a fair bit earlier in the video, but I obviously got distracted by, you know, playing the game. I've got a lot of tweets recently, more so this year than others. And they're all sort of relating to the same thing and the same idea. At this time of year, a lot of different platforms will start tweeting stuff like, oh, you know, who were you watching on YouTube in 2020? And who were you watching on Twitch in 2020? Or blah, 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 blah. And I've gotten more tweets this year sort of referencing me in that whole thing than I have in previous years. And the first thing I want to say is thank you. This isn't, I mentioned at the start, this isn't the last video of the year, but I want to talk about it now because we're doing some tedious stuff and it's been on my mind. This isn't the last video of the year, but I think it's important to say thank you for that. And I think it's also important to say that as difficult as this year has been for all of us, it's very much been that kind of, you know, who are you watching thing. It's kind of been a two-way street for me. In the past, I think it's been no secret for those of you that have been with the channel for a while that I've had issues with YouTube comments. I often struggle to block out the negativity that will be in YouTube comments, and every YouTube comment section has some degree of negativity. That's just the reality of it. Whether it's a lot, whether it's a little bit, there's always a bit. And that's kind of just the way it is. There's always gonna be criticism. Every art form, and I don't mean to say that my YouTube channel is an art form, but every art form, as it were, will have its critics. YouTube is no exception to that. You know, I actually kind of like that being a bridge. I have an idea that we could do there as well. So what I mean by it's been sort of a two-way street is that with the challenges that 2020 has presented to all of us, reading the comments and the tweets and chatting with you guys on Discord has been one of my favorite parts of this year. Interacting with you guys, either simply just through making videos, having the opportunity to do this. This year of all years has me feeling incredibly lucky. And it has me incredibly thankful. And I'm not, to say I'm not sentimental would be a bit of a lie. I'm quite a sentimental person at times, but I'm not often one of these soppy, oh, thank you types of people. I put up, I think at times, a very cynical, facade. I am quite a cynical person at times, but I ramp it up a little bit for the internet because I think it can be funny sometimes. But truly, I really am thankful for everything that you guys with this channel have given me, not just this year, but every year since about March of 2016. That's roughly when I went full time with YouTube. And that's crazy to think about, that it's been that long, and especially given the fact that on several occasions I wasn't posting anything. I wasn't really making videos, and you know, I've been very open with my mental health again, especially this year. And I mean, this year has been a nightmare for mental health, not just for me, but for so many people. So what I'm getting at is that just the simple fact that there are people still watching, still tuning in, still hanging out, still willing to give this channel a shot from time to time. I don't mean, I'm not trying to pander. I'm not trying to be like, oh, but you guys are like amazing and oh my God, you know, none of that like YouTube bollocks that some YouTube channels do. I genuinely feels this year especially that it's me that should be thanking all of you for just everything, just all of the opportunities. I'm going to place this out here just so I can work on this. All of the opportunities over the past few years, because at times I try not to take things for granted, but I absolutely have. You know, there's trips that I've been on thanks to this YouTube channel that I thought, oh my God, this is cool. When's the next one? Right? And then 2020 comes along and it's like, well, guess where you're not going? Literally anywhere. So as much as the point I'm trying to get at here, because I'm getting distracted actually doing roads and stuff. The point I'm trying to get at is that throughout 2020, apparently some of you have watched a lot of this channel. And, you know, that's been something that you've used to get through 2020. Being able to do what I do on this channel, being able to kind of have this interaction and share my gaming experiences with you guys has very much been one of my major highlights of 2020, because it's kind of been a throwback to why I started YouTube. It's been a way to distract from whatever might be going on. It's a way to sort of share what I love about gaming. It's a way to just kind of hang out, meet people, have conversations about gaming, and just have a good time. And so thank you is the point I'm making. Thank you for watching the channel and hanging out and all that good stuff. That's the point of that ramble, if you were curious. That's what I was getting at there, very poorly and slowly, but we got there eventually, I think. So let's put some roads in. Let's play some City Skylines, I think. Let's keep playing some City Skylines, because we're doing some things and making some moves here. And what I'm wanting to do here is hopefully manage to make a, oh God, that's rough looking. Hopefully manage to make kind of a, oh, that is awful looking, actually. Kind of a road that comes in. This goes to the roundabout, that connects to there, and then this is going to connect out to, I mean, this is going to go. So let me just select those nodes and segments there, because this guy's no longer needed. It's going to connect in and then to there and then out to this highway, and I don't know what this space is going to be. We got these cliffs. I mean, this whole thing needs reworked in terms of terrain. I don't know what way exactly I am going to do this. I think what we should probably do is select this entire segment here, like that, and then slope it, and then bring you down to this height. Select that entire segment, just a little bit there, and there as well, and slope all of that. So those are more or less the same slope going on there, which is fine by me. I don't think it looks too bad. And then I just need to find a good way to connect it like this and like this. And I mean, that is definitely not it. That is, Well, maybe it is. Maybe that is the way we do it. That doesn't actually look too bad, to be completely honest. So, yeah, maybe that is just the way we do this. So, slope like that, and grab you, and you, and slope like that. And yeah, I'm willing to allow that. So let's just flip the roads around so they're not all weird. And let's flip this one around so it's not super weird as well. And that will connect out that way, which is fine, even though that highway is still slightly flooded by sewage and waste and whatnot. And I guess over here, we bring this all away. And then these sections of highway just come out and curve around, which kind of defeats the purpose of what I'd done with these roads, but whatever. I guess that's just going to be the reality of this situation. So let's go about 30 there and 30 there. And let's go, I don't know if these are going to be in a straight line or not. We'll go 30 there as well. We'll go 30 there. I think those are roughly a straight line, so that's fine. And we'll just curve these guys together into, whatever that is, 31 by 19. Ooh. Maybe we come out by 11 there. And what does that give us? That gives us 20 by 19. I think that's a little bit better. 2019 was certainly a better year than 2020, so I'll take that measurement for sure. So that's roughly where we want to go, like that. And yeah, I think that'll be okay. So let's go ahead and flip those roads around there. And let's flip you around there. Turn those into sections of highway. And then probably smooth some slopes, and then we're probably good to go and see if traffic can actually move around all of this. Well, I'm not gonna say this was a complete and utter nightmare to get everything set up there, but I think this looks all right, and I'm kind of okay with it. What I do want to do is I want to come in and make sure these junctions are set up relatively properly there. And I want to go ahead and set up the roundabout in terms of its, management and whatnot. I think it might also be a good idea to come in and do some junctions and say that you guys can, in fact, change lanes as you're going around there. I think that might be a good idea. We're going to let traffic enter the junctions there is what we're going to do. And that should be kind of beautiful. I'm curious to see how much traffic ends up using this road and this section of highway just while we don't have any policies there. And I'm curious to see just how traffic kind of handles this roundabout in general. I'm actually really interested to see how that goes. So what I think we'll do is let's go in and just look at zoning. So I want to turn off zoning on this road. I think that would be a good idea. I think turning off zoning there could be a good idea too. I think turning off zoning here could be a good idea. And I think here as well. So that we can bring these roads just a little further down and really get some zoning close to the avenues, but not actually on the avenues. And I think that'll be good. So we can kind of do the same over here, bringing these roads, really, really close to that avenue. And I like that idea. So let's go ahead. I've just noticed that zoning is actually not lining up at all in there, which I'll be honest, I kind of expected it not to. So let's go ahead and take zoning off that avenue as well. And then I guess this road over here can extend out to there and can extend out to there. And that's fine. That's fine by me. I don't hate it is what I don't do. So let's go ahead and put a district in there because I do want this to be its own little thing. And I do want to put the modern city center theme on this because I think that'll be kind of cool. Just in this little area for the time being. We'll probably extend it, but just this little area for the time being. Coleridge Park there is going to have the modern city center theme. Even though we don't actually have any demand for commercial right now, it's just what we're going to do. It's just the way it's going to be. So fill all of this up. Let's just take it off of that avenue. select the area, and modern city center. And now that we got that done, I want to come over this way and I want to set this area up because I'm thinking this space is going to be self-sufficient housing. I think that could be kind of nice. Since those buildings they are high-rise buildings, but they're definitely not quite as super high-rise as some other buildings might be. So that area right there, we'll just do that kind of thing with. And truth be told, I reckon we can go in and do this sort of thing here with that space. Maybe just cutting it off a little bit like that. There we go. And we can cut it off the avenue here too. So Franklin Park, we're going to go in with a nice policy, and it's going to be self-sufficient housing. This area over here is fine as is. And I guess pipes would be the next step. I almost forgot them. Very, very nearly forgot them. But no, you didn't get me this time. I ruined that, didn't I? Absolutely ruined that. We'll bring them in just like that. Bring it across. We'll go across here as well. And I'll do an angle there just because I can. I really don't think my pipes are as neat as I like to pretend they are. Well, you know, they're all right actually. They're not terrible. I had to just had to zoom out and take a second there to look at them. I've done worse. I've definitely done worse. So I'll not complain too much. But we'll do this for that area, and that'll give us all the water coverage that we're going to need. I do think we can probably go ahead and turn zoning off on this road for the time being. And I'm going to turn it off on this one as well, just for the time being. And down there too, and there as well. So, that will give us a nice chunk of space for some commercial zoning, which I think will be lovely in some of these areas. So in those spaces and in these spaces, we have some commercial. And then in these spaces over here, it's going to be exclusively residential. But I also want to make sure that these areas are going to be serviced kind of nicely. So let's see, where can I put a nice medical clinic? I could put it right there underneath the train tracks. I don't know that we'll do that. But I do think maybe a little fire station could go under there. I don't know if that's a great idea, you know, blocking the fire station with the tracks there, but you know, honestly, I don't hate it either. I mean, like right there, so the trucks would have to come out and like underneath the archway. That's fine. That's kind of a cool use of space, although it does block up some zoning. So yeah, let's not do that. Let's just put this here. So it's under the tracks, but it's not, you know, doing weird things with zoning. So that's fine. And then I guess next to it, we could do a little police station. So we have those right there for services. Medical wise, I mean, I feel like the medical clinic could do with being a bit closer to housing. So we'll put the medical clinic here. And then I also kind of want to level this road a little bit. So let's just get you to the height of the building. And then get the medical clinic to the height of the building as well. Grab this section road and we'll just slope it like that. And we'll grab these sections of road and just slope them like that. And that seems fine. I think we'll do a little bit of parking beside the clinic. And everything should be all right. That one's definitely going to need to be rotated there. And maybe a path behind it or something just to kind of block off that space. So let's just do that right there. And that seems fine. We can do some trees or whatever in those little corners. But yeah, we have medicine right there. And also we have a bit of zoning that I don't want. So there we go. Fill up that space. We have medicine next to, or relatively close to at least, the residential zoning. In the residential area itself, though, I feel like we should do something with education. And I kind of like that spot there for the sort of high school for the area. Although we could also do a couple of back-to-back elementary school things there, which I'm actually very much on board for. And very much thinking we level to that height there. And then these guys here, I mean, there's cliffs, which is a bit weird looking, but I guess raise those up and then slope them. So something a bit like this and something a bit like this should make that look a little bit less ridiculous. It's still kind of ridiculous, but not as much. And then on the left here, we do have some space for parking lots. So that'll give them a bit of education in there. Not as much as I think the area is going to need, but definitely a little bit. And I'm not going to bother putting any kind of university in here for the time being. I don't think that's necessary. But I do think we can go ahead and just start letting this area build up a little bit. It should end up with power relatively quickly. And what we can also do is go ahead and just put a train line in here. So let's grab from there, I think. So right about there. Coming into right about there. And then just going back to about there. And I need to have a look at the vehicle because I need to make sure that I'm getting the right one. So train passenger, we're going to not be looking at that. We're probably going to go with the Flirt Generic 3 is what we'll do. So let's go have a look at that train line. It is the number 4. And it is going to be using the Generic 3, which is fine by me. So let's see. Is it going to give us a vehicle? It is going to give us a vehicle. And hopefully just one. So that's fine. We're going to have just the one vehicle on that line. We probably absolutely do not need more than that. And I got to be honest, I'm kind of curious to see how this area goes. And by kinda, I mean really bloody curious to see how this area ends up going. I'm hoping it goes well, and I'm hoping I can detail it nicely. But I'm also a little, I'll be honest, I'm a little anxious about how the how this whole highway connection's gonna go. But I will say, actually, something we could do is something we could do is change the entire rotation of this, oh, you know what we should do? I've just realized I could do, I'm going to change this corner. Should I do? Yeah, I'm going to change this corner. Okay, so I'm not too sure how obvious the change is that I've just made. But what I did was I basically made it so that at least part of this highway is parallel to this road here. So technically I could have zoning right against the highway if I wanted to. I think that's probably a good idea given that this entire area was kind of built with the idea of following the shape of the highway. So I'm kind of okay with that. Now what I do need to do is I need to go in with move it here, and I need to grab these guys. These are the things that do the whole power underneath the highway that give us power into the city. So just a few of those dotted about, and that gives us a connection from up here, which is fantastic. And now we just need to wait for a little connection to happen in here. And once that happens, we are in a pretty good way to power all of this. Now, I will say that I fully suspect this area to be a nightmare for traffic, because right now, I mean, half of the junctions aren't necessarily set up right. But beyond that, there's just, it's absolutely gonna be a bit of a nightmare around here. But I'm kind of curious to see how it ends up going, I suppose. Curious to see how traffic handles it without any Old Town policies. And it looks like we do have a power connection there, which is fantastic. I'm also honestly curious to just see trains going, you know, through here. I think that's going to look really cool, to be totally honest. Also, ooh, Now that's something we're going to need to just tweak right there. I am not having old European buildings in this area, so you guys get out of there. But I do think it'll be kind of cool to see people maybe using this little shuttle back and forth here. I'm excited about that, and I'm also excited about putting more buses into this area. That's something that's kind of a it's a slightly lame sentence in a way, but I am excited about putting some buses into this space. So let's go ahead and do a let's see here. Do we have the room for another line? I think we have room for one more here, which is fine. And speaking of buses, let me tell you something that is really friggin' cool about our buses in Nerdköping. And this is something that I can't believe the coincidence that I'm about to tell you. And man, could you imagine if I just left this episode right there? Can you can you imagine? It's like, oh, I've got this amazing coincidence and outro. No, I'm not going to do that. So the color code that we've been using for our buses thus far has been BA 1414. BA 1414 is a flight code. I've been joking about how, or whatever, the flight number. I've been joking about how BA 1414 sounds like a flight number, right? We kind of made that joke a couple of times in the series. It is a flight number. And what's even weirder about BA 1414 as a flight number is that it is the flight number of a Belfast City Airport to London Heathrow flight. It's the flight number of a flight that I have personally taken several times in my life. That's weird, man. That's weird is all I'm saying, because it's complete coincidence, right? It is complete and total coincidence. I don't remember intentionally choosing BA 1414 as the color code for these buses. I don't remember doing that. If I did, then forgive me, I'm misremembering. But that's a hell of a coincidence, is what that is. And that's weird. And I don't know if I've ever talked about this before, but I've always had this thing where I notice numbers that I say are following me, right? And one of those numbers is 178, because it was my bus number that I would get to and from school. It was my locker number in school. I'm pretty sure it was the PIN for my card that I had in school. This wasn't like a bank card or anything. This was like an in-school card for lunches that you would like put money onto the card to use only in school. And that number it's not like that number's tied to your locker number or anything. It was just coincidence that like 178 would follow me sort of everywhere in that weird way. And now BA 1414 is just coincidentally this number that we stumbled across in City Skylines is the flight number of a flight that I have been on several times in my life. That is just weird. What's also cool though is that people are keen to use these new this new bus line, so that makes me kind of happy. Got a few people wanting to use it there as well. Got some people using the train that goes back and forth there, which I absolutely adore that people are doing that. I do think we should unify the colors of our train lines though. And I'm thinking that anything in the city should be a blue line other than the metro, which should very much be red. So what color is this? It is that right there. So let's go ahead and look at the other train line, which is now going to be blue as well. So there we go. That'll kind of unify the color. Ooh, a good number of people there on that train. Beautiful. So yeah, this area is hopefully going to build up into something kind of cool and or maybe sort of slightly interesting. It's definitely, I mean, it's a grid, but it's not on the same grid as everything else. So once we get some density in there, it'll kind of nicely fill out this corner. Probably going to want to bring a key along this road at some point, maybe up to about here, and then continue it on the other side. But I like this. I like that we have this weird sort of thing going on. And I like that traffic is actually not utterly terrible, at least not here. It is over here. It's disgusting here, quite frankly. And I'm actually not entirely sure why it's so bad here. I guess it's largely because all of it is trying to get into the same lane by the looks of it, which I'm pretty sure. Oh, there's also a pillar in the road right there. I'm pretty sure, yeah, it's not really supposed to be trying to do that. So you should be going to there, there, and there. And you should be going to there and there. And we'll see if that fixes things a little bit. I get the feeling I'm just forcing a lot of traffic right around the roundabout right now. Which reminds me that roundabout is going a little bit too fast for my liking. These roads are 40 miles per hour. Let's bring the roundabout down to 40 miles per hour as well. So that will change things up a little bit there. And while we're here, let's also go in and take out that pillar because it's on the road and the other one's already gone. So that's fine by me. Okay. So, horrendous traffic issues aside and promptly ignored, I think we're going to leave it there for today. I'm keen to see this area. I mean, I say keen to see this area develop. It's pretty much built up already. I'm keen to build more in this area. I'm keen to put some industry up this way because I think that'll be really useful. I think this road here might need to be tweaked a little bit. And this will probably fill out this space in one way or another at some point in the not too distant future. And also, that can be dezoned because it's not actually going to be in the style that I want. But yeah, I'm keen to fill up that space. I'm glad we've got the population up a little bit. We're making some decent money. We've got our weird skyline off on that side of things. So this is kind of coming together. And I realize, you know what I could have done? I could have just moved this curve down a little bit. I'm going to do that really quickly. There we go. That looks a bit better than what we had before. It just looks a bit more organized. I've got a 4-lane road here, which can deal with all of this traffic, if there is any. And hopefully there isn't that much of it, because if there is, I mean, there's a lot of traffic in this area already, but whatever. Ladies and gentlemen, I am going to leave it there for today. I don't know. This was kind of fun, man. First time playing City Skylines in like a week or two, because, you know, holidays, and it's nice to just ramble a bit and kick back and relax at 7 in the morning, now almost 9 in the morning, and just play some City Skylines, you know, just relax for the end of the year and see what's going on and what we can do with good old Nerdköping. There is still plenty to do, but we'll get to it eventually. Ladies and gents, thank you so much for watching. It's been my absolute pleasure as always. And as always, have a good one. Bye-bye.